I get a feeling there's going to be a riot.
I don't read the newspapers because they all have ugly prints.
Yeah, and welcome to another episode of Tinfoil Hat. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in, and thank you for all the awesome comments about how you're loving the show. Some guy just said he went through eight episodes, just went through it, just bam. So we're here, dude. We have a great show for you. Join me, as always, my Silent Bob, Ryan Davis, everybody.
Hey, Sam. Good seeing you, man.
Ryan says he's going to try to talk a little more. Ryan has all this knowledge, but I've kind of like brought him in to the podcasting world. Well, he loves podcasts. He's a good friend of mine, and he sends me some shit. I'm like, Ryan, get out of the hole. You're deep in the hole. Get out of the hole. And so he's going to bring some of that stuff up today. But joining me is a wonderful human being, a very funny man. He's got a great podcast called Comedy Film Nerds, and he also has a wonderful YouTube page that he started recently this year, and it's really taken off. The Plickle Vigilante. Please welcome Graham Elwood. Everybody.
Thanks for having me here, dude.
Thanks for coming on, dude. I really appreciate it.
It's been cool, you know, like recording here at ATC. One of the things I like about it is just running into all these comics. And so it's like I see you and you're like, yeah, and you're like, I got a conspiracy theory podcast. I'm like, fucking, I'm in.
It's so funny,
You know,
man.
like if I'm performing around LA a little.
Yeah.
But you know what it is.
Are you roading it a lot? Do you road dog a lot?
I used to.
Yeah.
I used to road dog.
Is it just basically you're living off your podcast? Am I right?
Well, it's lately. I wish I was like making sweet podcast cash, but it's okay. The last couple of years, I've been working hard on Earbuds, the podcasting documentary. So that has taken me off the road a little bit, and then I've gotten some like directing some commercials and stuff like that, which has been
great.
cool.
Yeah.
But so I haven't been on the road as much. I was on a little bit.
You're
in
not
March.
missing anything. I go on the road. I'm like, this is not what I got into. Forever. Like the one that was really cool, the Skyline. I saw you did it.
Yeah.
I love that club.
That's
that
a great
fun.
club.
But those clubs are few and far between lately. You know, you're going out there and it's just like, it's getting crazy. But, even though my podcasts aren't as big as some of my friends' podcasts, because I've talked about this before, like the weird thing about being in LA is that you are literally being compared to some of the greatest to ever do it.
Well, that's the tough thing is and it's sort of the duality of the road. You go on the road, the weekend you were in Appleton, Wisconsin, you were probably the most famous guy there.
Yeah.
Unless like one of the Packers is on the TV
I
or
was
something.
So famous and so lonely.
I know. And then you come to LA and we're all real, everyone at our level I think is pretty good and pretty talented, but the difference between super successful, it's different than sports.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's way different than
It's
sports.
not like we can't. There's nobody, throwing a
If
95-mile-an-hour curve in AA, and the scouts are like, meh.
If sports were ran like Hollywood, you would see like women in professional sports, like they'd be playing in the NBA. They'd be, there'd be like you would have like weird fat Indian guys on NBA basketball teams that can't play, but they have to be on it. Like if you look at the NFL, and we'll get into the conspiracy, of course, but. The biggest players, the highest profile players in like the last 5 years were Michael Sam, Johnny Football, and who's the football Jesus? What's his name? Come on,
Tim Tebow.
Tim Tebow. Like those three guys have played a total in the last 2 years of what 0 downs in the NFL, but they got the most press. From the machine.
From the machine. While the thing that I still do love about sports is the numbers don't lie.
Yeah.
Tom Brady wins Super Bowls.
Yeah,
So Tom Brady makes a lot of money. And that's how that should be. But you're right, the machine is always trying to push all these other things. And that's what's tough as a comedian. And while I do love, this is why I love podcasting and why I got into a YouTube channel was I was like, well, there's a more of a level playing field.
Yeah.
I can kind of create my own thing. And, You need outside help like anything.
Yeah.
To promote your podcast or your
Every
YouTube page.
show that's ever blown up, a podcast ever blown up,
Somebody.
there's something, something. I like as much as people want to shit on TV. There's some kind of correlation with television, somebody famous on TV or movies. There's always something.
Something.
But let's get into your YouTube channel. Tell me about the political vigilante, which will lead us into what we want to talk about.
So I got into after the election. I was like a lot of people. I was like, what the hell's going on? And I realized, and I was on Jimmy Dore's his YouTube channel.
I love that
I
show.
love it. I was on late November. I texted him. I was like, "Hey man, I need to promote earbuds. Can I come on the show?" I just thought it was still his podcast. I didn't realize he had 200,000 YouTube subscribers. So then he texted me and he goes, "Yeah, we'll talk about the election, Graham. It might not be as bad as you think." And I was like, "Okay." And we get on the show, and I see his studio, and I was like, "Whoa, what's going on?" I thought we were just going to talk into microphones. And he tells me the whole thing about his YouTube and his politics and what's been going on, and I started to pay more attention.
He's an old school Democrat. He's an old school
progressive,
liberal, right?
Liberal progressive. He is.
I'm that too. I am not into this neoliberalism that's going on right now, which is to me the new McCarthyism.
It's unbelievable, and that's the thing he sort of woke me up to a little bit was, I've always called myself an independent, but I'm a liberal progressive, and I've been disenfranchised by the Democratic Party.
It changed with the Clintons, dude.
Oh, dude, they started
gangsters.
They're gangsters. What Bill Clinton did in '92, what he did in the primary, what he did to Jerry Brown, the things that they've done.
We're gonna get into that because we have some stuff on him. We'll talk about.
It's nuts.
That guy's shady as fuck.
Shady.
Why do you look like he is walking death right now?
Yeah.
Because he knows bad shit's coming. He's freaking out. But we'll get into a lot of that stuff.
But anyway, so I was like, I need to start paying more attention because, admittedly, I didn't pay enough attention during Obama because I was like, he was my guy.
Yeah, we love black people.
Yeah, and he's hope and change.
Yeah.
I worked on his campaign in 2008. All right, he's my guy. So I started to realize, how did this Trump thing happen? And it really happened because. And as I started going down this, and I was like, and Jimmy was like, you should do a YouTube channel, man. You should talk, Graham. You should learn about this. And I started learning about people like Chris Hedges and Glenn Greenwald.
Yeah.
And I started reading The Intercept and Truthdig, and I was like, oh man. I read Chris Hedges' Death of the Liberal Class. That will wake you the fuck up.
I will read that.
That'll wake you up about the liberal class. The war propaganda machine has been in place since World War I, dude.
Yeah.
George Creel created this thing at the behest of Woodrow Wilson to get America in World War I was like, we don't need to, the war in Europe was going on, and there was a movement going, that's a corporate war. Wall Street wants us in 1915 or whatever.
Banker wars.
Yes, it was, we don't want to be involved in that. And this propaganda machine co-opted, then it was newspapers and magazines. The movie industry was just starting, but they started making, the Kaiser films and all this shit like that.
Yeah.
And they got liberals and artists to play along. And Chris Hedges' whole thesis in his book is when the liberal class collapses, like in Weimar Germany in the early 30s, then you make it easy for demagogues like Trump to jump in there.
100. I actually believe that Trump, it was done purposely. They either said, the powers that be said, we can either have Clinton, who plays ball,
right,
or we're going to have this guy who's going to play ball too, but he looks like change. He looks like, and that's what Obama was. Oh, Obama was working with the CIA back when he was in college, way back in the day. They fast-tracked that motherfucker. And he gets in, and he's talking about change, but he never told you any change. But we all want to get away from fuck old white guys. Right. This guy's different. He's talking about change. Didn't change anything. Now he plays to his base. And that's why it's weird criticizing him because
I liked him.
I'm pro lifestyle. Whatever your lifestyle is, as long as you don't hurt children, do whatever the fuck you want.
But that's the problem with the Democratic Party. They didn't address any actual progressive working class issues. They're basically just Goldman Sachs with a rainbow flag.
Yeah, and then they just discount anything. When you go, hey, you know that the Clintons passed DOMA, right? The Defense of Marriage Act. Well, that was 20 years ago. Hey, Slavery was 150 years ago. We still talk about that. And fucking women couldn't vote 50 years ago. We still talk about that. You can't pick and choose
I know.
what part of history you want to follow. And that's a big problem we're getting into right now, where it's more important about being right than doing right.
Oh yeah, and I think that's part of the issue too in terms of this post-election fallout is everyone's still arguing their team. Like
Yeah, it's D's and R's. It's
it's a team.
fucking
And people are like, "Oh,
believable.
you're just a pissed off Byrne bro." I said, I liked what Bernie was saying. I don't think he was some sort of messiah. He was the only guy talking actual progressive $15 an hour, free health care, free college. He was the only one actually doing that.
Yeah.
And it's like the Republicans come up with a lot of crazy bullshit about Hillary, but there's some accurate shit. The New York Times did an article about her selling plutonium to fucking Russian businessmen through her foundation. That wasn't Breitbart. That was the New York Times.
It was 100% true. She did through the State Department. And then a couple weeks later, she got a humongous donation from a guy who was involved in the business deal, and which later they had to come out and say, yes, that looks bad. They basically had to say it. Her own daughter went through and was looking at the business and looking at all the business logs and the accountant, and she's going, "What are you guys doing? This is not good."
Yeah.
Her own kid was saying that. Dude, the only reason we sat there and took any of that shit, we allowed her to do it, is because we do a lot of transferring our beliefs into. Okay, because we see our mothers, our daughters, our sisters, and we look at Hillary Clinton, we think she's one of them. And then we see these people very high up in government, and we transfer the thoughts of we could never do this. Like I had a friend of mine, we were arguing Pizzagate. I hate the name Pizzagate, but he's like, my girlfriend emails people about pizza all the time. I go, yeah, that's your girlfriend. We're not talking about these high up fucking evil fucks who are using, like, you don't know these guys.
I know.
And you're transferring your own beliefs onto them, and that's the whole trick. That's the whole sleight of hand that gets done.
Well, that's the thing was like, her campaign was I'm with her. It was all just to say, and then if you're not, you must be against women.
Yeah, that's what they do, dude.
It was just like I was like, wow, and so anyway, that's like why I got into my channel, because I was like, I need to get at the truth, and I'm a liberal progressive, but I am not a Democrat. That party is bullshit. And look
it went away, dude. The Clintons killed the party.
And anytime a progressive voice comes up, they crush it, and they use the goddamn media. The media is not liberal. The media is corporate. It's a corporate media. It's so funny. Like, they'll show Syrian news or Russian news, and they always say on CNN or MSNBC, they go, it's state TV. So are you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
Not Tulsi Gabbard. It was the only.
I love her.
She's on fantastic.
I love her. The fact that any of the I just start wailing on people on Twitter with their fucking verified checks, going after her, calling themselves fucking liberals and going
You're
after
not a
her.
liberal. Howard Dean's not a liberal.
Fuck him and the clicky claim.
Oh fuck, man! and then the like Wolf Blitzer is interviewing her, and she's like, well, we just need real information. If Assad is doing this, let's use the United Nations. And I don't know if it's true. And he goes, you don't know it's true. The State Department, the Department of Defense. And she goes, they did that with Iraq in 2003.
Isn't it amazing how you just see it flip from right to left, right to left, right to left? It's unfucking believable. It's unbelievable as we watch how what we went through in Iraq, they're trying to pull again. And then these people who just follow R's and D's just go with it.
Oh, we need Assad's evil. We got to do regime change. Did that work in Iraq and Afghanistan?
It has worked nowhere. Everywhere we leave are failed states. And I don't know why they call them failed states, because it's literally what we want. Chaos.
Oh, yeah.
Destabilize.
Dude, if we had Democratic elected governments in the Middle East, a bunch of reasonable, educated people go, nah, no more American bullshit.
Yeah. I mean, dude, they've done surveys around the world. They literally think America is the biggest threat to humanity.
We are. We're ramping up for World War III. We've ramped up troops on NATO's put troops on the Russian border. We're picking a fight with North Korea now.
Dude. And I love how they spin it. China's sending ships to North Korea to help us out. That's not to help us out, homeboy.
No.
That is literally going, get the fuck off my yard.
Yeah.
That's what they're doing. That's like bouncers sending you to have a little talk with you when you're acting a little ruly in the bar.
Yeah.
They're not there to help us out.
No.
They are, dude. It's gonna get.
And China owns a large portion of our debt.
Oh yeah, which should be very interesting when we tell them, oh, we're not gonna pay you. But dude, I mean, we're fucking with two countries that are powers just like us.
Yeah.
And as all this shit's going down, I just think about all these fucking people in Coachella. Just like, yay, look at me. I spent a lot of money to look like a fuckable homeless person. And I'm doing drugs. And I'm just fucking hanging out. Yeah.
Once the Molly wears off, we're still going to be on the brink of World War III. So I hope it's fun out in the desert.
It makes me. So I wanted to have you on. We were talking about this. I've always wanted to do like the CIA and false flag stuff. Because I saw it happen in real time, some stuff, and we'll get in that towards the end.
So have I.
So I want to get into the CIA. We have some stuff here. It's very interesting, CIA. Your thoughts on the CIA? I don't know if you watched the Alex Jones episode with Joe Rogan.
I did not.
It was very interesting, very crazy. I think it's even crazier now that today his lawyers just came out and said he's basically a what was the words?
Performance artist.
A performance artist. That he's in a bad divorce. He's trying to get custody of his kids. His wife is using his show as a sign of showing that he is
Unstable.
Yeah. And I've always said this. I honestly believe he is an operative. I don't say he's 100% in, but I think he's an operative. I don't think you get away with saying a lot of that stuff unless you're allowed to say a lot of that stuff. I mean, when you get that fucking big. And I think they allow him to say enough to have credibility, and then they feed him a little bit of disinformation. And that's whole thing that he went off on Pizzagate where he made an apology is because that episode was so fucking big. That episode he was on Joe Rogan got over 10 million downloads. That was like one of the Joe Rogan's biggest episodes. And I go, man, Joe Rogan he entered a crazy place right there that like when you're that big, when you're bigger than the Tonight Show, they're watching.
Yeah, they are.
And when they laid it out, all credible parts were backed up by everything. That got people fucking nervous, dude. And I've always thought that, and it just kind of confirms that he's full of shit. You know, that it's just really fucking sad. And then you see all these, there's a lot of operatives, and we'll get into that too. But your thoughts on the CIA?
Well, the CIA, man, they are just an illegal rogue organization, basically.
You know, the reason I asked you that is because I honestly do believe, like in any organization, that there's a group of people who really, I wouldn't say all, I would say a small group within the CIA. I think there's people in the CIA who actually care.
Yeah,
and they got into it to do it.
Yeah, we need intelligence. We need an intelligence apparatus to protect our country. I think a lot of people are sold that bill of goods. I'm joining the military to protect my country.
Right.
And then you get some people inside who get disillusioned, like Pat Tillman and shit like that, who go, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
So the CIA, like the InQtel.
Yeah.
Which is the venture capital company that secretly investigated Google from the beginning.
Yeah, we're going to get into that, dude.
It's
for sure.
The CIA, like...
dude, they have their hands in a lot of fucking shit. And they have their hand... I just wanted to say at the beginning of this that I've you know, and they said on Rogan's, and I agree with it, not everybody in there. It's like cops, man.
Sure.
Not everybody, not a cop is a fucking asshole.
No, some are good. Some are like, I want to protect and serve.
Yeah.
I want to do a good job. And I'm sure there's some people, maybe even within the CIA, doing some decent work. That's like, hey, and they could go, look, hey, Graham, Sam, look what I did. I did this. I got this information, and this prevented this or whatever. And I go, yeah, okay, I feel you. But it's like any corporation. You know, it's like the people that work at my local Wells Fargo branch are the nicest people.
Yeah.
They got a coffee and a water. They're great. They're nice people. Their CEO created fake fucking bank accounts and was, quote, fired with a $124 million severance package.
Yeah.
He should be in a federal prison.
We need to start hanging people.
Yes. Hang that motherfucker in the...
Aaron?
I thought you were going to say, we need to start a bank.
No. I'll do that too. There's this whole thing in the Huffington Post today came out. Wall Street banker is forcing change inside the Trump administration. So the bankers are the good people. And they show a picture of him like that guy's never had a fucking humanitarian thought in his fucking
his
day.
mind.
That guy would hang his mom for a fucking $1.
Yeah, it's just like, how do I spin this? It's like Wells Fargo put out some full page ads after all that. You know, like one of them was like showing people like doing Habitat for Humanity. And it was like, we've given over like $140,000. Wow, that's fucking changing my shoe to them. 140 grand.
On the quarter in the couch.
Wow. Thanks, Wells Fargo. Thanks for giving your half-eaten piece of pizza to the homeless guys you ran by and chucked it off his face.
It's so fucking crazy. It's so fucking crazy. So the CIA is not the first installment of American intelligence. It actually started out as something called the Office of it was started in 1941. The Office of Coordinated Information. Okay, it was ran by a guy named. It was started by a guy named General William Wild Bill Donovan. Starts it. Okay, and the one thing that he does is he makes a connection with the Catholic Church. He makes a deal with the Catholic Church in order to use them as part of their intelligence gathering apparatus. The Catholic Church basically helps the CIA start to spy on the Italian fascist government.
It's fantastic. The Catholic Church is the original spy organization.
Yes.
That's why the confessional was created.
Yes.
So the Catholic Church could it's brilliant if you think about it. Confess me your sins. Well, now I know. Oh, you're sleeping with that guy's wife. She stole from this cat. It's brilliant. And the Catholic Church has been keeping tabs on all this shit.
At the highest levels, it's like I'm not into any of these religions, whether it's Judaism, Christianity. The religion itself is fine. It's the people at the top that are manipulators. So when you see this anti-Semitism going around, everyone's like, oh, man, Jews this, Jews. It's like, it's not the Jews, man. It's this high-up organization. It's not the Catholics. It's this high-up group of these power people who, before the show I was talking to you, probably aren't into Judaism or Christianity. Right. They're really into these dark art shits in which they really are just showing that I'll do some fucked up shit and I'll play ball. It's very high-up fucking shit. Go on.
I was just going to say, I don't know if I concur with you on the dark arts thing.
Okay,
I will
that's
say
fine.
this. I will say this. My theory is it's just complete power. It's the age-old thing. I want power. How do I get it?
Right,
Hundreds of years ago, I go through the church. But now I go through a corporation. And I think those people, are they like inherently evil? I think they've made that crazy rationalization.
I think they're psychopaths. I think at any level, there's a level. You even see it in entertainment.
They're sociopaths.
When you meet these guys that really make it, there's a fucking look in their eyes of fucking kill.
I can do
murder,
whatever
rape,
I can.
whatever.
I can do whatever I want.
It takes to make it.
Yeah.
Some people make it on. There's some luck involved, and 100%. There's some very nice people out there. I'm not saying everybody in Hollywood that makes it crazy, but there are some crazy. Like there's an old saying: behind every great fortune, there is a great crime.
Yeah.
And there's something to that.
And absolute power corrupts absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
And I think you get in there, and I think you get in there, and then you make these little deals with yourself. If you're a decent person. Well, if I do this, and then you start, Noam Chomsky talks about it. People start self-censoring. You know what I mean?
You see it in Hollywood all the fucking time. This play to this, I don't know who they're playing to, the fucking industry. I don't know who it is, but you see these guys who are complete scumbags, like fucking going off on like, we gotta love women, support women. You're like, you're a fucking scumbag. Dude. You film chicks sucking your dick without them knowing. Go fuck yourself. It's this weird kind of that we all start. You show this willing to play ball. And then you get fucking kind of fast tracked. And that's what happens in the CIA. There's this group of guys who are really, when you see that guy, I forget what the name of the senator, grilling Hillary Clinton on Benghazi, I really do believe that dude is trying to do what's right for his country. Right. And that he's never going to be able to run for president because he's not fucking playing ball right there. That's my opinion.
Yeah.
Because Benghazi wasn't about emails. The real shit that went down in Benghazi is, did they leave that motherfucker out to dry? Did they know what was going on and not send backup? But that wasn't what the media tells you. They want to make it about email, so everyone's like, forget the fucking emails. Who gives a shit about the email? And it's like, it's not about the emails, dude. There's a fucking, a huge fucking paper trail of creating ISIS, funding ISIS, arming ISIS, and eventually giving chemical weapons to ISIS, which is going to bring into the CIA and false flags. Here.
Yeah, I just did a story on Political Vigilante today about the real reasons for Syria, and they have they're leaving basically a little pathway for ISIS to go from Mosul into Syria because we're paying the rebels, the American-backed decent fighter rebels. It's ISIS and Al Qaeda. That's who we're. ISIS was created by us to just keep the Middle East. We got to have a new bad guy. We beat Saddam, right? The Taliban's out of power. Oh, now ISIS is here. It's insane, man.
Do you remember that Bill Hicks joke about what was the?
We're like Shane.
Yeah, that's exactly what we do.
That's my favorite thing.
Pick up the gun.
Pick up the gun.
We create a bad guy.
Yeah.
So we can fight the bad guys.
Right.
It's unfucking believable, and that's the history of the CIA. So we get into the CIA. You have Operation Paperclip. Do you know what Operation Paperclip is?
Yes.
Yeah. It's like basically
we had Nazis help us with everything, developing atomic weapons. We have,
so the World War II is going on, and we realize that Russia is trying to find these scientists that are Nazi scientists who helped exterminate people. Mm-hmm. We decide to go out and get these guys before Russia can do it. And we smuggle them into the United States. And by the way, if you think this is propaganda, go fucking look at the CIA's own fucking website in which they tell you about Operation Paperclip. It is unfucking. He's looking up, and next thing you know, he's on the CIA page, and it's telling you all about how we brought Nazis in to fucking create our intelligence agency.
Oh, I was going to say, in our space program, which conspicuously was missing from Hidden Figures.
Yeah.
Not one Nazi in there.
Yeah, there was no Nazis in Hidden
I
Figures.
was like, where are the Nazis?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We just needed a white guy to knock down the bathroom.
I mean,
That
we
didn't
were
happen.
working in. I mean, look at what created the CIA was these evil fucks who basically, I don't even know who they're. I mean, you're bringing Nazis in. Who are you working with at this point?
Yeah.
Like, what is the point of? I mean, so it's based in the fact that they'll do anything to win.
Anything. And again, they fall into that. There's a handful of people at the top, I believe, that are sociopaths, and then everyone else thinks that it's for the good. It's the greater good. You know, you gotta break. You know, it's boy. If you could go back, if you made a time machine, you could kill Hitler as a child. You're killing a child, but look what you're doing. You know, I mean, they're talking themselves into that. Like we had, thou shall not kill unless it's Hitler and the Nazis. Then
If I
we
went
got
back
to
to
do that.
kill Hitler, it'd be when he was a baby. I just stop it real early so
Yeah.
he can't run away and just be like, "Sorry, baby, I'll fuck you up." I'd fuck baby Hitler up and then bitch slap his grandma.
Yeah.
Right. So this starts out. What is the name of the actual group of? I had it right here. The actual name. There was a name for this thing. I'm trying to find.
Oh, the Galen organization.
Yeah, the Galen organization.
Yeah.
That sounds evil, doesn't it?
Right. The band of refugee Nazi spies who reactivate their networks in Russia. And they include fun people like SS intelligence officers Alfred Six and Emil Ausberg, who massacred Jews in the Holocaust. the Butcher of Lion. And on down the line. We get some great guys over there.
Yeah.
Can you imagine that? Can you imagine if that was if people knew that in America? Like,
It's so interesting, dude, that probably people did know about it. And this power elite didn't give a fuck.
I think America ultimately never wants to know how the sausage is made.
No.
They don't.
It's George Orwell. People sleep peacefully in their beds at night because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. It's right there. I mean, 1984.
That's what it is. And it's like having, like, I've done some military tours to Iraq
Me
and
too.
Afghanistan.
I love doing that.
Right? You've seen war-torn third world countries. And for all of America's problems, by comparison, we don't have to think about anything. Just put your garbage in the can, the garbage truck takes it away. It's gone.
Yeah.
Gone. Pour it down the sink, the drain,
Yeah.
it's gone.
Yeah.
It's all gone. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
And We don't want to know how you want to know how where diamonds come from?
Yeah.
No, I want a pretty rock on my finger, or my girlfriend's finger. That's what I want. I don't want to know that slave labor, African slave labor brings it. I don't want to know that. I don't want to know that we're backing fucking Al-Qaeda and ISIS because we need a pipeline to go through Syria.
I think they can't come to grips with it when you tell them that. They want to discount it as conspiracy because they believe in these leaders who they don't fucking know, and they transmit their views of themselves onto these people.
Well, the American propaganda machine has done a fine job on educating its citizens that we're the heroes.
Yep.
We saved the world in World War II. That Hershey bar to the kid, we think we're heroes. So it's like, honestly, like look at Penn State. There's people that just will not accept that Joe Paterno knew.
And you know who those people are? The people who run Penn State. They just celebrated him.
I know.
They just
Celebrated
had a
him.
huge event at a football game.
Football game. And there's still Franco Harris, who I looked up to as a kid, was like, we gotta stop the lies until the truth comes out. The truth is already out, Franco.
Yeah.
It's called the Free Report, FREEH.
Right.
They hired Penn State hired the Judge Free to do an independent study, and they released it's on the internet. There's all these emails of Paterno knew for 13 fucking years,
Yep.
maybe longer, and
Yep.
did nothing. And everyone's like, oh, but graduation rate. Like it's like if you found out a close friend or family member that you really loved and cared about was like a serial killer or pedophile. There's a part of you that would just go, nope, I don't want to deal with it. I love that guy. He's awesome. He's done this, and this for me. I can't.
Yep.
I can't face it. And I think America is just in denial about who it is. We don't want to face America's like. Watch the film I'm Not Your Negro. James Baldwin's like, America's sick.
Yeah.
Look how it treats its citizens.
Yeah.
Look what we do. Look what we do so we have cars and diamonds and all these nice things. Look what we do to get that, and we don't want to know. As long as I got my cable's nice, I got a nice home, my car run.
All that shit.
I don't want to know. I don't want to know how the oil gets into my car.
You know what's so
Ignorance
funny
is
is that
bliss.
Yeah.
I watch, whenever a huge event happens, I always like to go to Instagram and see how the Instagram models are taking it, like their feelings on it, and they couldn't give two fucks, ass up, face down. That's all the pictures.
But Sam, hold on now. Now, when we started bombing Syria, there was a lot of great photos of mojitos and salads and stuff.
Because let's say, I do joke about, let's say Darth Vader came and took over the planet. He would be walking around with 15 of the most smoking bitches you've ever seen in your life, because he'd get the best coke and he'd get fucking courtside tickets to Lakers, and they couldn't give a fuck. There were French chicks fucking Nazis, and it's just like, at some point you just don't. It's like, as long as I get mine, man. I think sometimes and maybe my career is where it is because I just don't want to do that. I just don't want to play the ball.
It's hard because I wrestle with that a lot, because you and I were in similar situations. We have we're stand-ups and we have podcasts, but they're not, like me personally, I'm not making. My money's still very up and down. And I think about, I used to host game shows. And it was fun. It was great.
I remember when you got it.
Yeah. And I could have stayed in that world. And maybe I'd have one of these late night, maybe I would be doing the late show on whatever channel.
Right.
And I'd be making millions of dollars. And so, like, when I interview Marco Rubio and he denies climate change, I'm not going to call him on his bullshit. Seth Meyers just let that pass.
Yeah.
Because I'm working for GE.
Hey, dude, I hate to say it. I had a discussion with Gareth Reynolds the other day. It's like, Bill Maher's no different, dude.
No, he's no different. He's no different than Hannity, Rachel Maddow. They're all
John Oliver, dude. I loved John Oliver up until I started him. Like, John Oliver and fucking Bill Maher can't stop fucking that dead corpse of the Russians rigged the election. I'm not saying that Trump didn't work with fucking the Russians, because everybody at that level works with the Russians. It's just
Bill Clinton got paid to speak over there. Trump, they probably have video of him getting pissed on or whatever. Everyone's done business over there.
Melania, whatever her name is I wouldn't doubt if she pegs him in the ass. I wouldn't doubt it. When you're that rich with that haircut, you're in the weird shit, man.
Dude, Rex Tillerson has done business when he was head of ExxonMobil. Now he's Secretary of State. They've all done business together, and that's the other thing. You talk about the CIA. It's, oh my God, they mess with our elections. Yeah, we can talk about all the CIA fucking democratic governments we've overthrown to put in a radical.
Brazil. We just did that in Brazil. She was a democratically elected president, and we just overthrew her and put somebody. We took her out in a coup, and we put somebody else in there.
Yeah.
It's unfucking believable. Which gets to the propaganda machine and how if you don't see it, you don't get it. Right. Arguing propaganda and conspiracy theories, which is a very funny thing, is conspiracy theories were branded by the CIA to disprove anybody who criticized the Warren Commission after the JFK assassinations.
Yeah, you're a wingnut.
Yeah. Oh, look at you questioning why would we you're saying the government would assassinate our own president?
No.
Oh.
Dude, as I said, they started that in World War I with George Creel. Anybody that spoke up was deemed a lunatic, unpatriotic wingbird. And the theater in the 20s and 30s was really amazing. It was like about socialism and the people and the workers, and they fucking got that shit out of there too. Now entertainment is just, dancy, funny joke.
So bad.
It's awful.
It's so
awful.
fucking bad. The comedy is bad. I get called old school. I'm an old school comic. And I'm like, I have punchlines?
Right. I don't just talk about my fucking Tinder date. That's the only thing I talk about.
Like, I can tell you what someone's act is as they're walking the stage.
Yeah.
That's not good.
I know.
That's not fucking good.
I watch a nighttime of acts, and I'm like, you guys are all sound the same.
Do you think anyone told Shakespeare, keep it simple, stupid?
Yeah.
Think they ever, hey, dumb it down?
I've been hearing lately, I even heard this on Twitter from another comic, comedians shouldn't be mixing politics and comedy.
That is the most disgusting thing I've ever heard in my fucking life.
Wow. I guess Bill Maher isn't a billionaire. I guess Lenny Bruce didn't talk about that.
I mean, like George Carlin, Bill Hicks.
Yeah.
All of them questioned everything. Richard Pryor questioned the establishment.
Yeah.
But now it's all, I call it pop comedy, Nickelback comedy.
Yeah.
It's just Nickelback. These guys are Nickelback going around thinking they're fucking, Metallica.
Yeah, they
I
think
used to
they're
say
rebels.
Led Zeppelin, but they stole all their shit, so I can't use them anymore. So Metallica or whoever your favorite guy is, And it's just the dumbing down. It's just like you don't want to rock the boat.
No, nobody wants to rock the boat. And I'll give you. Do you want to get into what I went through?
I want to get in. We can talk about anything. I want to talk about Operation Mockingbird.
Mockingbird.
Operation Mockingbird, which is basically an operation where the can you find it real quick? This is yours, homeboy. Operation Mockingbird. When did that happen? Do you remember the exact date on that?
That happened in the late 40s is when it first started happening.
It's basically where the CIA decided to basically start taking in media outlets and reporters and bring them into the fold, making them CIA operatives.
The Washington Post they got, and now they have assets, all of them, ABC. The CIA paid the Washington Post $600 million. So the Washington Post, and now their webpage is like Washington Post, resist, or some, okay.
Well, I mean, dude, we just had a thing came out that the government, the CIA spends $600 million a year on propaganda.
Propaganda.
And
it's working. Look what happened. Everyone was like, Trump, worst president ever. What's he doing? Resist. Lowest approval ratings ever.
Oh, and by the way, we found polls are full of shit. Didn't we find out during this election? Who are these polls?
Yeah.
Who are these people being polled right now?
It's like we have state TV. It's the corporate state TV is showing this.
They only tell you what they want you to know.
Yeah.
And what they want you to know is that war is good.
Yes.
Give us your money. Give us your oil. Give us now.
Don't question power.
Don't question power. Don't question anything. And we're going to get into this because this is very important right now to what we're hearing going on. But I wanted to play this little thing. This is Operation Mockingbird gets found out, and something's happening that you never hear before.
Real concern that planted stories intended to serve a national purpose abroad came home and were circulated here and believed here because this would mean that the CIA could manipulate the news in the United States by channeling it through some foreign country. And we're looking at that very carefully.
Do you have any people
He's
being
interviewing
paid
the head of the CIA right now.
by the CIA who are contributing to a major circulation American journal?
We do have people who submit pieces to American journals.
Do you have any people paid by the CIA who are working for television networks?
This, I think, gets into the kind of getting into the details, Mr. Chairman, that I'd like to get into in executive session.
At CBS,
That's a yes.
Yeah.
we had been contacted by the CIA. As a matter of fact, by the time I became the head of the whole news and public affairs operation,
This is the head of
in
CBS
1954,
News at the time.
The ships had been established, and I was told about them and asked if I'd carry on with them.
We have quite a lot of detailed information, and we will evaluate it, and we will include any evidence of wrongdoing or any evidence of impropriety in our final report and make recommendations.
Do you have any people being paid by the CIA who are contributing to the national news services, AP and UPI?
Well, again, I think we're getting into the kind of detail, Mr. Chairman, that I'd prefer to handle in executive session.
That's another yes.
Yep.
Senator, do you think that you named the news organizations in your final report?
That remains to be decided.
I think it was entirely in order for our correspondents at that time to make use of CIA agent chiefs of station and other members of the executive staff of CIA as sources of information which were useful in their assessments of world conditions.
Would you say that continues today?
Well, I would think probably for a reporter it would continue today, but because of all of the revelations of the period of the 1970s, it seems to me that a reporter's got to be much more circumspect in doing it now, or he runs the risk of at least being looked at with considerable disfavor by the public. I think you've got to be much more careful about it.
What a different time.
1976.
What a different time.
Just off the heels of Watergate.
Yeah.
Here's why this is so interesting today, as we were talking about earlier. The corporate media, which is probably controlled by the CIA, look at how they reacted to the Trump sending rockets to Syria. Brian Williams basically had a goddamn orgasm on TV.
Him.
God, he was like, look at how beautiful these weapons are.
It's
like,
so tone deaf. It's just like, you would never say that if we'd ever had actual bombings going on. I know Pearl Harbor, and I know and 9/11.
but we've never had rockets shot
if
in.
we had if we had bombs that could hit us all the time, you would never you are so detached from the fucking consequences of where that rocket's going.
It's disgusting to me. And here's the thing I say to people, and I've said this on my show a bunch. I go, let's say your next door neighbor has a meth lab. They're evil, they're bad, they're fucking doing human trafficking, they're awful. The cops don't come and round them up. They just shoot a rocket from a couple 100 miles away, and your kid dies.
Yeah.
Are you like, yay, we stopped the drug dealers? Are you like, who the fuck sent that rocket?
The policies that we have as a country is hilarious. The whole thing is like, we don't want you hurting yourself, so we're going to hurt you even more. The war on drugs.
Oh, God.
Great example is drugs are bad for you. We got to stop you doing drugs. So if we catch you with drugs, we're going to throw you in jail. So I can stop being a drug addict. I have stopped. I stopped partying, right? But I can't stop being a felon. And I will always be a felon. I won't be able to vote. I won't be able to get some jobs. That is permanently on my record.
Yeah.
The war on terror. We want to stop terrorists. So what do? We bomb the fuck out of them. I love listening to Bill.
And all we do is create more terrorists. Every time a civilian dies from one of our rockets, do you think they're on the side of America?
Yeah.
After that, or they're like, no, fuck that. I'm going to join Al Qaeda.
Yeah, 100%. 100 fucking percent, dude. That's why fucking Bill Maher drives me fucking nuts.
He's such a fake ass fucking liberal. He's just a rich Hollywood dick who's a fake fucking liberal.
He's a fucking trust fund kid.
Yeah.
And I used to really like him, but he's lost. He's just lost.
He said that remark after 9/11 that was right on. And they took his TV show away. And then he spent a couple years going, "Hey guys, I'm good for TV." So now he's playing ball.
He's playing ball.
Who owns HBO? Time Warner. That's why John Oliver was like, he made some good stuff about the drones, but then he comes out after like Jill Stein because he's a Clinton person.
Yeah,
Jill Stein's.
He just ruined his credibility.
I know. It's like you killed it.
Ruined his credibility.
And he did some, like the drone show he did a couple years ago. I was like, wow, that's fucking powerful, man. You are using this thing for good. And then I see that and I'm like, oh, Time Warner, the CEO of Time Warner is buddies with Hillary. Jill Stein's donation money goes down after that. It's like, oh.
So I want to get into this propaganda stuff real quick. So here's a very interesting thing. So we established that they actively went in and started getting press people, started taking over the media, planting ideas and all that stuff into the media. Well, in the 90s, the Clintons come in, and the Clintons deregulate the media. And at the time, nobody knew why they did it.
Yeah, that's weird.
They're like, there's no point to this. And then you realize what the point was. The point was to consolidate the media into 6 companies. Okay?
Easy to control.
And the reason I know Bill Maher is, I brought up Gareth, is the reason I know Bill Maher is taking marching orders from the guys who sign his check. Bill Simmons' show got canceled. And I found out later on that he was getting notes from HBO and he was going, no, I don't want to do any of them. And Bill Simmons overestimated his worth and value. Because there's a million motherfuckers that would take your place in a heartbeat. So when they're like, say all this shit, and he's like, no, they're like, he didn't even finish his first season. Get the fuck out of here.
We gotta fill your place.
So Bill Maher is talking about this Russian connection, literally saying that it is the biggest atrocity to ever happen in U.S. political history. Really, dude?
Really?
Because we know our own government assassinated one of our presidents.
JFK got killed, and then they killed his brother just for thinking about Russia.
Yeah.
That's not.
Yeah.
That's the lone gunman, one bad guy, and then Jack Ruby was just a distraught club owner that was mad America was hurt.
Unfucking believable. So now you have all this crazy shit going on, and there's like MK Ultra. Are you into that at all? And is it Culture or Ultra?
MK Ultra.
Ultra, yeah. Basically, what is it? It was based in operation in which they did mind control your mind techniques, and I know it's gonna be one whole episode we'll do eventually, but basically it's on the lines they tried to use brainwashing skills.
Yeah, the CIA was looking into how LSD and extended times of non-sleep. It's before waterboarding, it's before Abu Ghraib, but they saw what they could do as an attempt to make a Manchurian candidate.
Yeah. And there's a lot of these.
It's human experimentation. I did a video on that for Political Vigilante. They've been doing human experimentation. It's not even torture. You got to call it what it is, because I think it's. And I read this article where the person was like, "Let's call it human experimentation," because people can argue, well, sometimes torture brings results. Let's just call it what it is. We're experimenting with humans.
Yeah.
That's fucking horrifying.
Right.
But the thing that relates that I've gone through, so they control 6 media outlets, right? So they want to control the media.
Yeah.
The thing they can't control now is YouTube. So here's what they've started to do on YouTube.
Yes.
So Jimmy Dore pointed this out to me. He goes, Graham, they've started to YouTube. There was an article.
YouTube changed the election, in my opinion.
How so? How do you...
the videos that you were watching where all this information is readily available, and where like I can't go through the 90 million documents that WikiLeaks released. This guy that's what he does for videos, he's going to glean it, tell me what the important shit is, and if I feel he's credible, now I got a news. WikiLeaks is the #1 news source out there.
Oh yeah.
And
so people are reading. So Jimmy was telling me, he goes, Graham, this happened about a week right after Syria. So was it 2 weeks ago? YouTube has started to demonetize. What happened? There was an article in the Wall Street Journal that was like AT&T and all these big companies are pulling out of YouTube because their ads are playing on David Duke, right? Oh, we don't want ATT ads to play on hate speech.
Yeah.
Bullshit. This and
the guy who wrote that article also put out an article where it's continuing, and he put up where it was a screenshot, he said, of a video that said blah, 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 in the title, blah, 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 N-word.
Right.
Which you can't do on YouTube.
Right.
You can't put the N-word in a title and let it fly. They won't let you do that.
Right.
That was he just bullshitted it.
Lies. So here's what happens. Jimmy goes, Graham, any videos I've done about Syria or Yemen or bombing all got demonetized. I was like, what? So I checked mine. They have demonetized 5 of my videos. One about a Yemen strike that killed civilians. One about Trump not disclosing troop deployment numbers. One about they're killing gay men in Chechnya. And then several of the Syria ones. So Jimmy goes, here's what you got. And I was like, no way. Heath, what are you doing? They did it to Jimmy. They did it to me. They did it to Kyle Kalinske that does secular talk. They did it to the Young Turks. And I was like, what the fuck? This is some scary ass shit.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy told me to do is like, if you go, anyone who's new, if you go to Graham Elwood, Political Vigilante, if you see like Syria in the title, I go S-Y-, and then my description is blank. Because in the show notes of YouTube, you want to put as much information to get keywords, right? So you can't put attack, bomb. I had one about corporate Dems attack single-payer healthcare, I believe. They flagged it for attack. So I took out attack and put in goes after and petitioned it, and they let it be monetized again. But I have about 5 videos where they took the fucking money off. And I said it on my YouTube show, and people were like, holy shit.
Yeah.
And so, I started a Patreon. And that's what Jimmy did, and that's what Kyle Kalinske did, because I'm not YouTube. That's censorship. Here's what YouTube's saying: you can say whatever you want in your video, you just can't make any money. That's the fucking CIA.
Yep.
We're the only ones talking about it. I was like, really? I'm doing it at my kitchen table. Jimmy's doing it in his garage. We're doing it at our houses, and we're the only ones talking about it because fucking Brian Williams is too busy whacking off on a fucking Tomahawk missile.
It's unbelievable. They're desperate to control the message. The traditional, I think Hillary Clinton ran a campaign from 1985.
Of course.
She ran an old campaign. She had no clue what the fuck they were doing, and they fucking lost because they lost the internet.
Well, yeah, they lost the internet, and it's like, and yes, there's a lot of racism in this country. We've traveled around, we know it. But when you have
100%, there's racism everywhere.
Sure,
every fucking where.
But when you have counties that voted for Obama twice that didn't, and the diehard Hillary people react like the diehard Trumpers.
Yeah.
Any direct criticism, they you call out Trump on his bullshit and his you snowflake libtard.
Yeah.
The Hillary people is you woman hating burn bro.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
Yeah.
Like they don't, and it's crazy.
Within one thread on Facebook, I got called an alt-right bigot.
Right.
And then a stupid liberal on the same thread.
The same thread.
Yeah, because they just can't. If you can't agree with them, you got to be this fucking idiot. Hey, do you got to go anywhere? Can we just do a tiny bit longer?
Yeah,
just a tiny bit.
I'm good.
Is that okay? All right, because this is a great conversation. I want to get into this.
But can I just say this real quick? When you go to YouTube, if you're watching a political thing, first of all, let the video play all the way through. When you skip, the content creator doesn't get paid. And if you want alternative media, go support mine, Jimmy. You could cancel your cable and support all of our Patreons for a couple $1 a month, and I won't lie to you.
Yeah.
I might get it wrong. You might not agree with me.
Yeah, and you can be wrong.
You're
a
human
human being.
I'm a human being. If I get it wrong,
information comes out, your opinion can change.
Yeah. I thought Justin Trudeau was great. Then all these people from Canada said, nope, he's an oil guy.
I was just there. They hate him,
They were
dude.
like, fuck this guy. He's an oil guy.
Jane Fonda was like, we got to stop trusting fucking good-looking liberals. Yeah. And that's what they do. They throw out these fuckable guys, and these girls all go vote for him.
Yep.
And I had friends of mine that just basically voted for him, for Obama, because either he was black,
right,
or because he was good looking.
Yeah, he's good. He's articulate. He's presidential, which you kind of miss it sometimes with Trump, but but he's still part of the corporate machine. He had 11 Goldman Sachs guys in his cabinet. Anyway, support alternative media.
So we get into this real quick. Operation Northwood. Do you guys know what Operation Northwood is? Operation Northwood was basically a CIA operation that they wanted to do. They wanted basically during the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Yep.
the CIA wanted to create a false flag in which they wanted to blow up a U.S. airplane and blame it on Cuba so that we could go in and fucking invade Cuba.
Yeah.
It got to JFK's desk. He said, no, we won't do that. And that is the beginning of the clock to the fucking assassination of JFK.
Yeah.
If you don't play ball, if you are not, and that's why I think once Trump gets in there, you know, it's Bill Hicks, another joke. A new angle of the Zapruder film that nobody else saw of fucking that.
Well, that's what happened because Trump was all, we're going to drain the swamp, drain the swamp, and then his whole cabinet is climate change deniers. I'm like, oh, this is all an oil game.
Well,
and he was all like, he's critical. We're not going to bomb anymore. And
if you watch a really good doc on Netflix, it's very dry. You got to be into it, but it's Requiem for American Dream with Noam Chomsky.
God.
Have you seen it?
It's fantastic.
He talks about it, dude. And that's when I realized Trump probably was picked from the start and that we fell for it again. We fell for this outsider who wasn't an outsider at all.
At all.
And he basically comes in and he does the bidding of the deep state. That way they have both of them. And you're like, oh, Trump's wrecking everything. He's not playing by the rules. And then you're like, oh, the media gave him like millions of dollars of free advertising.
Oh, dude, there was. I remember watching Bernie Sanders give a speech, and they cut away to an empty podium where Trump was going to speak.
Yeah.
The head of CBS goes, "Hey, I don't like Trump, but he's good for ratings."
Yeah. Oh, who said the guy CNN, right? That fucking dude.
A bunch of them said it.
Who ran NBC into the ground? That fucking guy. So I just want to get operation false flags and stuff like that. The push to war happens more than people want to believe, and that is going on right now with Syria.
When we spend under Obama, it was 54% of our budget, which is more than the next 7 countries combined. So it's just under $600 million. Trump wants to make it even more. So it's going to be over 600. That's why when people are like, oh, I'm tired of the welfare. Welfare is 3% of the economy.
It's unbelievable. This one comic, he's a nice guy. He put out something like, oh, since 1967, we've spent $3 trillion on social programs. And I go, since 1991, we spent or lost, and they say lost is it's unaccountable, $13.5 trillion on fucking war.
Yeah.
13 trillion.
Gee, I wonder if we could have affordable health care.
100. And these people, they just keep buying into this.
They buy it. And it's like you look at that number, when you're spending that much money on the military, you better believe we need a war.
Yeah.
You better believe we need, and it's like,
you gotta move those bombs because new bombs are coming in.
New bombs are coming in, and guess what, man? That's why the media is very culpable. The corporate media is in demonizing the poor. Oh, you're poor, you're dumb, you didn't pick yourself up by your bootstraps. No, the system is rigged against you.
Yeah, 100%. And it's like this, and it's what I go back to. It's not about groups. It's not about white versus black.
No. They want us to be that way.
That's how they want to be. It is literally rich versus poor.
It's the 1%.
It's the elite versus the world.
It's not someone that makes $300,000-400,000 a year or $1 million a year. It's the $100 million.
LeBron James is not. No, it's even higher than that,
oh,
dude.
Yeah. It's $1 billion. It's the billion and up.
Billion,
yeah.
And we'll get into something. Have you heard the Committee of 300?
No.
Oh yeah, dude, you gotta look into that. We'll talk about that. I love that evil laugh right there. Everyone thinks the Rothschilds run everything. It's the Committee of 300, dude. Because somebody put something, look past them. I go, there's nobody past them. I go, holy shit. But I want to get into this real quick.
Okay.
So the Syrian stuff, and it's like. In 9/11, I'm gonna do an episode on 9/11. I want to get Richard Belzer on here because I hear he's a huge conspiracy theorist, and the show's really about comedians and what their takes are.
Right.
And so 9/11 happens. We'll get into what happened up to that. That'll be another episode. Do I think the government's behind it? I don't know, but do I think they let it happen? I think so.
I think it was like FDR. FDR is like, hey, there's a fleet of Japanese ships coming towards Pearl Harbor. Okay,
yeah.
We're going to pull all the hand-ranking guys out.
What they also don't tell you is we cut off all their oil, all their power, all that stuff in Japan. We forced their hand,
right.
So 9/11 happens. Just to let you know, there is a law in this country that if a airplane veers off its course by 3 degrees jet fighters are released. No jet fighters were released on that day. Just to let you know that's something. And by the way, another fun fact for you, the security company in charge of security of the World Trade Center is also the same company that was in charge of the Oklahoma City Federal Building. Same company. Guess who runs them? A Bush. Deep, okay?
Oligarchy.
So 9/11 happens, right? 2 years later, there's a video of Wesley Clark. Comes out, and he tells the story about how he went to the Pentagon. Was that the State Department? And he's going, what's going on? They're like, we're going in Iraq. And he's like, why? And he's like, I don't know. The famous thing is like, I guess when you're a hammer, every problem is a nail. So he goes there, and then he comes back a couple weeks later, and he's like, so what's going on? He's like, the general's like, it's even worse. Now we're going into 7 countries. And he lists all the countries. Those countries right now, we are bombing. We are bombing the fuck.
And we have been since Obama.
Right? No. Obama took it from 2
That's
wars
right. That's
to
right.
5 wars. And the only one that he hadn't bombed is Iran and I think North Korea. Those are the only 2 on the list they hadn't bombed yet. So when this happens, right? So the whole Syrian chemical attack, right? You guys have to know something. In 2013, there was a chemical attack. Obama was going to go in, but before he went in, it was found that the chemicals that were used in that attack were not the chemicals used that Assad had, because he gave up all of his chemicals.
Right.
It was a different chemical, which means someone else did it. Which it turns out that the Syrian rebels were the ones that did it, which is ISIS. Who created ISIS? Now, an interesting fact that just happened right here is that one of the countries we bombed was Libya. We took out Gaddafi. We raided his armory. He had chemical weapons. We took those chemical weapons. Those chemical weapons were the ones that were used in this recent attack.
I don't doubt that for a second.
That, my friend, is a false flag. And you guys don't have to believe it, but just know the week before, Tillerman?
Yeah, Tillerman.
Was saying that...
Rex
Tillerson was saying that the Syrian people can pick who they want to pick. Noam Chomsky says a false flag is going to happen about 3 weeks before this. It happens, we bomb the fuck out of them. By the way, the day before... Dude, Assad was winning.
I know. Why would he do this?
It makes no sense.
Yeah.
It literally makes no sense. Everybody was agreeing. ISIS was on the retreat. We bomb the fuck out of them. We give them a nice way to come fucking in.
It's so funny. And then to just hear, like, friends of mine that I think are fairly smart, intelligent, astute people who are left-leaning, and they're just like, well, we had to. I'm like, whoa. We had to? Like, they're just like they.
This is a 14-year process.
Oh fuck, man! They were there's an interview, and when I did an episode of Jimmy Dore, where he shows an interview with Christine Armanpour and Assad from 2005, where she's like, they're talking about doing regime change for you, man. They're gonna come after you. You know that she says that in 2005.
And why do you think we're demonizing Russia right now?
Oh yeah,
because Russia can't let that pipeline happen. We've talked about on the show. If you guys listen, you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
That pipeline will fuck Russia. So Russia comes in and we demonize them. Do you know when the Red Scare started? The first time we started the Red Scare?
Wasn't it back in the 20s or?
No, dude, it was way before that. During the Civil War. So do you know that during the Civil War that Lincoln issued his own money? He wanted to get rid of the Federal Reserve and he wanted to kick them out. And what was going to happen was that Britain and Spain were going to come in on the side of the South. And they were like, we're going to go in on the South. All you have to do is you have to put in a Federal Reserve, a banking war. And you know what happened? Alexander III said, no. If you go in on that, we're coming on the side of fucking Lincoln. And they stopped it, and that's how we won the fucking war. And that's when the demonizing, because Russia had just gotten rid of their own fucking caste system and all that shit. They'd thrown all those people out, and and that's where the demonization of Russia started, the demonization of communism, the demonization of all that shit. Yeah, Alexander III in Russia helped back Lincoln. Because he wanted to get off the Federal fucking Reserve.
The Federal Reserve is full on evil.
Full on evil.
Like they're the
Who
fucking.
owns the Federal Reserve?
Yeah, I know.
It's not the Rothschilds are one of many. It's the Committee of 300.
Ugh.
Guess who runs the Committee of 300?
Who?
Guess who's the top of it? Queen Elizabeth. And everyone thinks it's crazy, but look at how she lives. Look at that lifestyle. People, she's still on money for. Everyone's like, the British Empire's gone. It's not gone. She owns more land on planet Earth than any other human being on the planet. And dude, there's a list of motherfuckers that are in on that. The Rothschilds are just one of many of that. The Rothschilds own the banking. Then there's people who run the fucking oil. Then it's just all these fucking ballers that.
And that's what I feel like what we're in is like the ballers are having a fight with each other. That's what this whole Syria and this ramping up to World War III feels like. Like a couple of the people in the 300 room are having a fight, and they're like,
I don't know, man.
Am I wrong? I don't know. I don't know.
Like right now, the Syria is a proxy war between Saudi Arabia and Iran.
Right.
And you know, it's like if the war went down right now, it would be the U.S. and Israel, and parts of Europe. And I don't know what, because they're not everybody's cool with us, and not everybody's cool with Israel. You know, and it goes back to my whole theory that, you know, I like Israel. I'm cool with Israel. It's just like America. It's the power elite fuckheads.
Yeah.
You know, Netanyahu is their Dick Cheney. Don't think about he's anything less than that.
I know.
He is a warmongering piece of shit, just like Dick Cheney is. And the same, if you don't like Netanyahu, you don't like Israel. That's bullshit. That's like saying if you don't like Dick Cheney. I don't know how Dick Cheney is allowed to walk the planet.
Oh, dude, he should be. He's another guy be in fucking federal prison.
Yeah, hanging from a motherfucking tree.
It's a mind-boggling to me what happened in Iraq. And no one in this country, and everyone's just lining up to do it again in Syria.
Because it's the deep state,
Yeah,
dude.
it's the deep state.
This is deep state shit.
Yeah.
And you know, and it's all about getting war going, getting war going.
Watch TV commercials, right? This is the first year of my life I didn't watch the Super Bowl. I played football in high school, and I'm a little like, I can't. And I just would watch part of it, and there was a fucking ad for the American Petroleum Institute, some sort of We Are the World petroleum ad. Then there's all these games for Mobile Strike. I'm like, they're just gearing us up to buy and be. We're trained to be in war all the time.
When I did a USO tour, the guy was taking me around. Goes, do you know during the First World War, they found that nobody wanted to shoot a gun. Nobody wanted to shoot a gun and kill somebody. So they had to come up with a way to do it, and that's when you see guns starting to show up in movies. Start shooting, you start seeing monkey see, monkey do, and that's what these video games are. And I got in a fight with my friend Mike Black. I'm like, Mike, if you don't think these school shootings and all these spree shootings are a direct relationship between fucking the medication these people are taking for depression, all that shit, with the combination of fucking these video games, which are first shooter, walk through, pegging people fucking off, you're nuts.
You're nuts. Dude, well, yeah, we don't want to deal with the mental illness of this thing, but you're right. That's why they want war and killing is just, we've watched so much of it, so it's okay because, and there was John Kerry, there was like a video that came out recently where he's like, yeah, the problem with these young people is they don't want to go to war and die. Yeah, well, the fucking millennials, they're all so selfish.
Yeah.
They don't want to go to a bullshit corporate war.
Yeah.
Because it's against human nature to want to do this.
We have not, I don't call our defense, we have a military offense. That's what we have.
Yeah. This is what, we're not protecting.
Our military is like the Golden State Warriors. Just score, and that's how we defeat you.
Yeah.
And so we have to make people think there's a threat to this to our country, right? And there was a famous thing, and we'll wrap it up here in 2 seconds. There was a famous thing put out by Dick Cheney. Let me find it real quick. It's called, real quick, you want to look at something interesting? It's called The Red Line and the Rat Line. And it was talked about this, basically this manifesto, let's say, that Dick Cheney puts out, in which he's calling for a get back to more military spending, more control, assert our power against the world. And they say This is going to take a long time to do unless there's a cataclysmic event. And 3 weeks later, 9/11 happens.
Oh, dude. It's the amount we spent, what was it, over $1.5 trillion or whatever it was, in just in Iraq and Afghanistan. And
there's too much money for people just to be like, I hope our guy wins, or else if he doesn't, we're not going to make all that money.
When that kind of money's involved, and you've been over there, and again, anyone who decides to join the military to serve their country,
God bless you.
God bless you, man. Fucking God bless you. This is what I'm fighting for. I don't want more useless. There's 22 vets a day committing suicide.
I tell people when I see them, they're pro-war and they're all this shit, especially these fucking Democrats. I go, I hope you and your family are the first boots on the ground.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are over there and you'll tell me whether this is
Tell me how great
worth
it is.
So 9/11, they're attacking us. Right. Everybody go crazy, right? So some people think it's a false flag to draw us into this war. And listen, dude, if you lost somebody here, I am not trivializing that. I think it's sad that there are people who look at the other human beings as collateral damage, as resources, as basic cattle.
It's a spreadsheet.
It makes me really fucking sad. So that now we gotta keep thinking people the threat is real, and we see some false flags. And these are gonna be. I'm gonna do another episode on the Boston bombing. Some people think that's a false flag. I can only tell you something I saw happen in real time.
Right.
Which was the San Bernardino shooting, where that guy and his wife supposedly went and shot up an office party. I watched that happen. I'm a comedian. I'm home during the day. I have on television. It just happened to be the local news. Shooting happens in this office. They have reporters on the scene. They are interviewing. I watch it happen. Interviewing people right there on scene that saw it go down. And this guy is like, 3 white guys walked in black military fatigue and started shooting everybody up. And I'm like, oh my fucking God. What the fuck just happened? I'm trying, and I'm watching them interview him in live. And then the story, I watch it happen in real time, start to change to this fucking Arab guy, hates America, shoots everybody up at this party, and him and his wife try to go on a killing spree. And by the way, his wife just had a baby. Like
and
3
now
months
wants
ago.
to go kill.
And now he wants to go kill everybody. I watched it happen. You have to convince people.
I said several months ago, I was like, Trump is screwing up, and if he keeps screwing up, he's going to get, I go, one of two things is going to happen. He's either going to get impeached by the right if he fucks with their money too much, or there's going to be some kind of attack or war, and everyone's going to rally behind him.
He started playing ball very quickly.
Yeah.
They
sat him down, and he was like, I'm the Donald. I'm going to do what I want. And they went, are you sure?
Yeah. Because you're barely a billionaire.
Yeah.
You're dealing with people who are rumored to be trillionaires.
And they have everything on him to impeach him if they wanted to. They have everything they need. He's broken the Constitution. He's lied. The emollients clause. They have everything they need. They have everything they need if he doesn't play ball. If he does play ball, then guess what? Trump, as Fareed Zakaria said, he became president tonight. Go fuck
him.
Fuck you.
Fuck that guy doing a disservice to his own fucking country. And I can't, and like, the most amazing thing, I'm so let down by the left, man.
Oh, the left
whole
is the worst.
The way they're celebrating George Bush because he fucking called out Trump. I'm like, are you fucking crazy?
Did he not lie about weapons of mass destruction to get us into Iraq? Like, what? He's on Ellen DeGeneres as this cuddly bear that everyone thinks is great? What the fuck are you talking about? The left is the worst. Pelosi, Chuck Schumer, Tom Perez, Debbie Wasserman Schultz, Donna Brazile, fucking Howard Dean. They're the fucking worst.
And then who's the guy they just put in the DNC as a chairman?
Oh, Tom Perez.
He got caught fucking kneecapping Bernie.
Oh, dude. Look, dude. Donna, yeah, whatever.
Dude, here's the thing. If you go to me, Trump is a piece of shit. He worked with the Russians and he did this. I go, yeah, you're right. And then if the right comes to me, go, Obama was full of shit. He fucking extended all these wars, and he wiretapped everybody, and he fucking did surveillance on fucking Trump, and that's how they know this Russia shit. You know what I say to you? Yeah, you're fucking right.
Oh, and he didn't prosecute any of the Wall Street people.
Yeah, the truth is, you're both right. And when you're that high, there's no team.
There's one party, dude.
One
The
party.
fucking deep state party.
And
That's the
why
party.
I pound on fucking people so much about Hillary and Obama. It's not that I'm anti-right. I go, the only chance we have, if we have any at all, of changing anything, is getting the liberals to wake the fuck up. Okay?
We need an actual progressive party.
Yeah.
Because the American people, by and large, even people call themselves conservatives, they want progressive politics.
Yeah.
People want $15 an hour. They want health care.
Yeah.
They want free college tuition. They want we could have a Green New Deal. China spent $111 billion in 2015 building wind and solar turbines. We spent 40-some billion. We could be leading the world in that. We could have high-speed rail from coast to coast. But the left has to get its fucking shit together.
Yeah, and they gotta, listen, dude.
Kamala Harris saying we don't need purity tests? Fuck you. I voted for you, lady. I'll vote you the fuck out.
Yeah, and we have to start voting people out.
Voting Democrats out. Because I heard 8 years of anybody but Bush. I heard that for 8 years. So if you're coming to me with anyone but Trump 2020, fuck off.
Yeah, well, no, that was Hillary's whole plan.
Oh, God, I'm not him. She's just, I'm not him. That was her whole campaign. I'm not him. What was her policy? Trump, for all of his crazy, evil, racist bullshit, I at least knew what he wanted to do. I want to ban Muslims. I want to build a wall. This is what I want to do. I'm going to make America great. I'm going to bring jobs back. I mean, I was like, this guy's...
He wanted to get rid of fucking free trade, but, dude, they'll kill you if you do that.
They'll kill you if you get rid of free trade.
They'll kill you.
So the only chance we have is either someone with either the Democratic Party pulls its head out of its ass, which I'm seeing no information. I'm seeing nothing to say that that's going to happen.
I'm thinking Bernie's in on it too now because, we're bombing Syria, not saying anything, still marching on fucking health care.
It's like Tulsi Gabbard.
I love her, dude. Got
behind Bernie during the primary. He's not getting behind her. This is a real disappointment.
Yeah.
And it's like I said, I don't think Bernie's the Messiah. I just was glad someone was talking progressive politics. So I'm hoping it's her because she's an Iraq vet. She wants legalizing pot on a federal level. And she's like, this is bullshit. She posted, I had friends that did not come home from Iraq. I don't want that to happen again. How can you argue with her? Howard Dean, who's a fucking draft dodger? Fuck you, Howard Dean.
Yeah, fuck you, man. I love Tulsi. She's the only hope. Everybody else, at the highest levels, are fucking.
She's the only hope in the Democrats. The only other thing is if somebody jumps in and says, "I'm going to run as an independent," and they're got real, and then the two parties scramble and do their typical tricks, and people don't buy it, and an independent wins, or a new third party, or the Green Party gets a charismatic leader, something.
I'm gonna be honest with you, man. There should never be another Republican fucking president ever. We are so fucking. Most people, you go anywhere, they're like, "Hey, dude, somebody's gay. Let them do their own thing."
Let them do their own thing. And you know what? Here's the thing.
But when you go off on you want to defund Planned Parenthood, you want outlaw, you sound stupid. Let it go. Those are the law. That's lost.
And here's the thing. If you're the other thing that the left has done, so you and I know what white privilege is. Right? I know. I've enjoyed some white privilege. I know what it is. But you're sixth generation coal miner, and you're like, I lost my job. There's an OxyContin problem in my neighborhood. I got guys. I don't know. I'm like, and don't fucking tell me white privilege.
Yeah. The notion of in comedy punching up and punching down is the dumbest fucking thing ever because it assumes that based on somebody's characteristics, that determines what jokes they can do. I do a joke now called oppression math.
Right.
Where the crowd literally, they calculate how much your people have been oppressed, and based upon that is what they'll let you get away with on stage. And that's just the dumbest fucking shit. Because to say a gay man from Manhattan, New York, who's born to a rich family, has some kind of 3 strikes against him compared to some poor ass white guy from the Appalachian. Now, I'm not saying white people are perfect. It's rich versus poor, man.
It's rich versus poor. And here's the thing. If you came through the working class white areas of the country that just voted, a bunch of them just voted for Trump, and gave them real jobs and progressive thing, they might start listening to you about, they might go, you know what, maybe I was wrong about gay marriage.
Yeah.
Maybe I shouldn't be so hard on Muslims because you just gave me a job working in a fucking solar plant.
Yeah.
Exactly.
You know? But when you don't give them any fucking options and you call them dumb and racist, fuck you.
And then you got that guy, what's his name, Seth Green? What is his name? The guy who goes on Bill Maher all the time, who's anti-Muslim. It's like, how can you tell me,
Sam Harris,
and we'll wrap it up here. I cannot discuss what religion is good and bad when we're bombing the fuck out of them. How can you separate that?
I know.
How can you do that, dude? How can you say that the Muslim religion is worse than any other religion?
If we just
when
started
we're bombing the fuck out of them.
If we just started bombing these white militia groups in Michigan and wherever else, we just started fucking airstriking them, and then some regular civilians died too, and then just how awful white Christians are.
Yeah.
I mean,
dude, just imagine if Egypt came to America and just set up shop right in the middle in Idaho.
Yeah.
How do you think the country would react? They go fucking nuts.
Yeah.
I hate to tell everybody, during the Revolutionary War, guess who were the fucking the fucking rebels, the terrorists? The fucking Americans.
Yeah.
Fighting for their own freedom.
I know.
We are doing nothing different than the terrorists are doing nothing different in their own country
Than what we did against the Brits.
Yeah. Do you know, I bet you if you looked at fucking the media around then, they called us terrorists,
Of course.
rebels,
Of course they
pieces
did.
of shit.
Yeah, the Tea Party was a false flag.
Yeah.
We dressed up like Indians.
Yeah.
And we blamed it on someone else.
Yeah.
I mean, it's how we do our things.
Yeah, 100%,
Yeah,
dude.
war is peace, freedom is slavery, ignorance is strength.
The only hope we have is waking liberals up who just want to get theirs. And
Yeah.
it's just like there's something more to that, dude. And demonizing white guys is never going to get it done. It's never going to get it done, dude, because you're taking people who are really cool to everybody and you're making them feel like shit. And eventually they're just going to flip.
Demonize the ultra rich. Of any gender, of any ethnicity. There's a lot of rich white guys that are dicks, but there's also rich women and whatever else. Donna Brazil. Like, go after the wealthy.
Yeah, the wealthy. Where can they find your movie, man?
Earbuds, the podcasting documentary, is at comedyfilmnerds.com. It's a download and a DVD. So check that out. It's got interviews. There's quick little clips of Sam in there. There's interviews of Joe Rogan, Aisha Tyler, Chris Hardwick, Mark Maron. And it's a movie that I'm very proud of.
Dude, you should be proud. You fucking had an idea and you executed it, and you did it.
Thanks, man.
And that's what's amazing because most people talk it and never fucking do it.
Thanks you.
Hey, dude, I love having you on. If you ever want to do it again,
Whenever you
please
want me,
let
I'll come
know.
back here whenever.
Yeah, man. We'll just figure if you got something else you think you want to talk about, let me know. We'd like to do it. Real quick, because I never do this and we're out here, Aaron. Guys, we need to subscribe. Subscribe to us on iTunes. Like us if you're listening to us on SoundCloud. If you like us, rate and review. Let people know about it. Like everything. We have a Twitter account. It's Tinfoil Hat Pod. At Tinfoil Hat Pod. Follow it. Love it. Live it. If you guys have guests you want me to get on, let me know. I'll try to get everybody. Anybody and everybody. You guys want me to do a flat earth? That's going to take time. I'm not really into flat earth, I got to be honest with you. The only thing I do is I want to get the best of flat earth versus the best of someone who thinks people who are flat earth. I'm trying to find somebody who could, I don't agree with flat earth. I'm just not smart enough to give you all the technical shit. I want to get a technical guy, have two guys talk it out. There you go. That's the only way I'll do it because I think the earth is round. I don't want to get into
All you
that.
need is a weather
I think
balloon.
Michelle Obama is a woman, okay? I think we landed on the moon. I don't know about the rest of the space shit, but I know we did. I mean, I think we've been to space. I don't know if we landed on the moon. I don't know. I wasn't there. That's all I can say. I wasn't there. Loosen the fuck up. And whoever you want, thank you again, Ryan. Your research is great for the show. Ryan doesn't talk a lot, but he's the backbone of the show. Thanks for coming on, dude. And you're the man, dude. Thank you guys very much. See you guys next week. We got Steve Lee talking what?
Oh, shit.
Yeah.
We're talking reptilians. We're talking archons. Tune in.
Tune in. It's going to be a
Icke.
great one. All right, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks for tuning in to Full Hat. Bye.
That was awesome.